This is Majo John Madden, and I am sitting in the laundry room of the Haywood Respite Center in Asheville, North Carolina. This is where I go when I need quiet to think or to shoot a video. I'm going to shoot a very relatively short video and tell the story about my legal and medical situation for the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to go back quickly to the spring of 21. I left the Asheville area and started traveling south in the U.S. And it was in, I think, Louisville, Kentucky, that I got a call from a Buncombe County sheriff saying, "You have a warrant for your arrest back here in Buncombe County." And I explained how totally confused that was and that it was pretty much a nothing charge. And the nice lady sergeant said, "Well, we get all kinds of crazy warrants here, but if you ever come back to Buncombe County, what you need to do is to turn yourself in, and they might hold you, but they might not, but that's what you ought to do." Well, I thought I never was coming back to Buncombe County because I was settling in Mexico, but after 2 years in Mexico, I got wildly sick and could not afford the good hospitals in Playa del Carmen, and the U.S. consul helped me fly back to Asheville for better medical because my Medicare is insurance here and I had none in Mexico. So I'm still dealing with very serious medical issues, which includes a series of urinary tract infections that get me really sick, and I've got one right now, and I think maybe on the verge of going back in the hospital. So on Wednesday, June 25th, I was talking with Joseph, the social worker here, and he said, "That warrant for your arrest is going to get in the way of getting an apartment. You ought to clear it up." And I said, "I've been wanting to." So on Thursday, the 26th of June, Nicole, the director of this place, gave me a ride to the Buncombe County Detention Facility to turn myself into the magistrate. And they did arrest me. And I said to Nicole as I stood there in handcuffs, "I guess no hugs." And it was partly a fluke that kept me in the jail for a week because used to be personal friends with Todd Williams, the district attorney. And so to keep his hands totally off it, he gave the charge to the attorney general for the state instead of Buncombe County DA office. So that's why it took me a week to get out, because they just weren't around the jailhouse. But in that week, I learned way too much about the detention facility. I'm a PhD clinical psychologist and an old management consultant, and I thought I'm going to be the perfect inmate, and this is going to be a piece of cake. But in that jail, all they saw was inmate. Didn't matter what I said, didn't matter how reasonable I was an inmate. And on the way there, Nicole and I had also stopped at my urologist's office, and they said, "You have a urinary tract infection. Here's a prescription for an oral antibiotic." Well, what I had learned the hard way a month before at Mission Hospital was that when these infections get real bad, the oral antibiotics don't work anymore, and they need to do a systemic IV antibiotic. And the first 2 nights at the jail, I was attempting to sleep on a concrete bench. They had not given me a pad yet, and I could not sleep. And 2 nights in a row, I got no sleep, and my infection got dramatically worse. And every time I tried to tell the jailers, "These oral antibiotics that you are giving me are not working. I'm getting sicker and sicker." And they said, "You're faking it. Get back on your bench and shut up." And when it got so bad I could not stand to walk to the jail door to get my meds, they said, "Then you don't get it. You walk over here or you do without." There was one good jailer who would come and give it to me. But the last time that happened, my last night there, they said, "Do you want your antibiotic?" And I said, "Yeah," and held my hand out. And they said, "Come and get it." And I said, I can't get up," which I couldn't. I was so weak. And they said, "Then you don't get it." And I said, "I want you to document that you chose not to give me my antibiotic." And they said, "We're going to document that you chose not to take it." So I got dismissed Thursday night, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I guess. Thursday night, a week and a half ago, when the bond got dropped. And from the jail reception area, I called 911, and Buncombe County EMS took me to the hospital, where they documented quite thoroughly how sick I was. And after, I think, 4 days in the hospital, the doctor said, we're going to roll the dice. We think that amoxicillin by mouth will approximate what you're getting from the IV, but it's not working. Now, so I got out Monday. I got out Monday 5 days ago. This is Saturday the 12th, and I'm not getting better. 4 days of antibiotics, and I'm very, very weak. And I'm about to say to the nurse, yeah, you need to send me back to the hospital. I have to have the IV. And that's the deal. That's the deal. The big breakthrough, yeah, that's the deal. I have to go back to the hospital. I'm good. My spirits are good. My spirits are good, and I did a lot of good things yesterday, but my body is just not cooperating at all. And one of the lines I've learned about UTIs is, don't fuck with them. They are dangerous. And in the jail, they chose to fuck with them. They rolled the dice by saying, no, we're not going to listen to you. You're taking that oral antibiotic that was appropriate 2 weeks ago, and that's all you get. And they wouldn't let me make phone calls, because one side effect of the UTIs is that I start to slur my words. And the way the patient phone system works there is they voice match. They have you put in a sample of your voice, and then to use the phone, you have to match it. But the level of slurring of my words changes from moment to moment according to how tired and how sick I am. And the system would never match. And when I would say to the jailer, your computer system will not let me make a call, and the jailer would say, you are failing the test, so you don't get to make calls. I don't get to make a call to my public defender? No, because you don't know how to use our system, so fuck you. And that is the prevailing climate in that jail is, you're an inmate, fuck you. And that's the truth.